Welcome back everybody to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios, back at it with another debate episode. Today we're going to be talking about Godzilla 2019 versus Siren Head. So here's the plan. We're going to go over Siren Head first, all of the backstory, characteristics, basically all the specs. Same thing with Godzilla after we finish Siren Head. And then once we're done with both of these two kaijus, we'll put them up against each other in a death battle, and I'll go deeper into that once we get to that phase. Now before we do begin with the backstory of Siren Head, I do want to give a quick disclaimer. We know that Siren Head is nowhere near the size or strength capacity of fighting Godzilla. I'm just gonna tell you right now straight up, we all know that. So, for this fight to actually occur, there has been some mutations in Siren Head that I basically made up in the backstory for it to be able to fight Godzilla, basically. So, that's my disclaimer. I want to let you guys know that. Without further ado, let's begin. Siren Head is a 40-foot tall humanoid creature with a heavily emaciated, near-skeletal frame covered in dried, mummified flesh with a color similar to rusted metal. After coming into contact with Godzilla, Godzilla's radiation mutated Siren Head, making him grow to around 80 meters tall. But as a result of that mutation, it made him grow an exponential amount of muscle and strength. So yes, when this Siren Head came into contact with Godzilla, we have to remember that Godzilla has nuclear radiation spewing all out of his body, right? And that causes mutations, which is exactly why Shin Godzilla was the way he was, because of nuclear radiation, or nuclear waste, same thing, and he was mutated. So same situation here with Siren Head, he actually becomes mutated from Godzilla's radiation and therefore adds a bit more strength. So, I'm gonna quickly skim over the abilities of Siren Head and we're gonna see what they are. I'm not gonna go too deep into them. We're gonna finish up Siren Head and then we're gonna come back to the abilities of Siren Head before we move on to Godzilla as a deep analysis, so no worries about that. So I'm going to do a quick skim for now. Abilities we have goes as follows. He has the siren sound, he has something called a mimic sound, and finally he has the body attacks. Not too many, but they will be useful abilities, and you'll see as we progress on through the video. Territorial level is none, aggression level is actually at a maximum. Biome is Earth, and height, as we finished off, being 80 meters. That is not the official height, he's actually 40 feet. He's only 40 feet tall, but because of the mutation going against Godzilla from the radiation, he is now 80 meters tall. So, let's go back to the abilities. Let's do a deep analysis. So, what is the siren sound? He has this basically, whenever he's attacking an opponent, or a victim, or whatever you want to call it, he pretty much uses the siren sound. And basically, if you've watched any short films of Siren Head, you'll notice that this sound is a siren sound that comes right before he's about to attack. And that's basically what it is. It alarms everything, and it kind of puts, you could say, his victim in shock, which gives him enough time to kind of grab them and eat them, right, in a very disgusting way. But he also has another sound where he can actually mimic his opponents, as in something they know, a familiar sound, or even their sound, and he can mimic that. And that's going to be a big factor in this battle, correct? And finally, he has something called body attacks. Now, originally, he's not that strong of a creature. Obviously, going against a human, he is a monster. He's a Godzilla compared to a human. But against Godzilla, he's he's pretty much an ant. Now, obviously, with this radiation going into him and him being mutated, it's going to cause the game to shift a little bit. Now, let's go back to the backstory and see what this means. See, as a result of that mutation, it made him grow an exponential amount of muscle and strength. So now his body attacks are a bit more stronger and are going to have some degree of damage to Godzilla. Yes, we still have to remember that Godzilla is around 119 meters tall, specifically Godzilla 2019, and Siren Head is now 80 meters tall, which is a bit of a big difference, but not too big compared to 40 feet tall, right? and the body techs are going to be super strong, so you have to take them into consideration. So that basically finishes off Siren Head. We're going to keep him on a closed case until we go to the final battle. Let's talk about Godzilla 2019. Now, Godzilla 2019 is an interesting Godzilla. It is from Legendary Studios and Warner Brothers, produced by Warner Brothers, made by Legendary Studios. And he is a completely different Godzilla than what you've ever witnessed from any Godzilla movie that's specifically made by Toho Studios. Only by Toho Studios, actually, because there's no other Godzilla movie except, Warner Brothers. But that's what I'm talking about. The reason why I'm saying that is almost 90% of all Godzilla movies made by Toho Studios, the original Godzilla creators, Godzilla is an abomination. Whether he is Souls of the Dead, or he is a nuclear abomination, whatever it is, he is a mistake, and he's not supposed to be here. He's an extra creature, bringing unbalance to the earth and killing everyone he sees at his sight. That is the basic theme, especially Godzilla 1954 and Shin Godzilla portray this. They are an abomination, a metaphor for war. And war is, it's meant to not be, right? It's a mistake in many people's eyes, and I agree with that. So, with that being said, this Godzilla is the complete opposite. So Legendary took a complete opposite of what Godzilla is. He is not an abomination here. He's actually natural. He's a natural creature to bring balance to the earth. So he's not an abomination. He is a natural creature. And basically whenever something unbalances nature or something is here on earth that doesn't supposed to be here, Godzilla comes and brings balance back to nature. So he is a good thing, I guess you could say. I wouldn't say he's a friend of the people, because I believe he will be against humanity in Godzilla vs. Kong because of what they did in Godzilla King of the Monsters, but he is a friend of nature and Mother Earth. Doesn't necessarily mean he is with humanity, as I said, but he is with nature. Now, his backstory is basically he's an ancient alpha predator, last of his kind, according to the film, and he was worshipped as a god back in the days. Now he's seen as a titan. So are the other big kaijus, obviously. And many of them were actually worshipped as god, just as Godzilla was. And Godzilla is the alpha of the alphas. That's why he's named King of the Monsters. Now, when it comes to abilities, he does have some interesting abilities. Now, he can use the atomic breath. He can use a tail whip. Basically, he's very agile and very good fighting creature. He can use tail whip, kick, punch. As I said, very agile, and use the atomic breath. Also, one great thing to say about this creature is that he is the only Godzilla that I've ever seen, and probably you, that has survived a blast from the oxygen destroyer. He is the only Godzilla that's ever done it. And finally, he has one ability that's not new, but is used in a way much more powerful way, and that is the burning ability. Now, originally it was called the fire ability, but now, Legendary Studios confirmed that it's called the burning ability. Godzilla can basically use excessive radiation from his body to melt and blow up things. So melt from a close distance, I would say, and blow up from a far distance. And basically how this happens is he needs excessive radiation from his body, meaning more radiation than he already has. That's the first catalyst. The second catalyst is that he needs the complete energy of Mothra in his body. Once he possesses that, he can combine the two elements, put them together in his body naturally. His body will do that, and he will go into burning mode. And that basically kills anything that actually kills King Ghidorah in the final battle in Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's exactly how King Ghidorah goes down. Okay, folks, and he is around 119 meters tall. So, we are completely done with both of these kaijus. Let's put them up against each other for a death battle. Now, let me explain this, basically. The death battle consists of two levels. A close-range battle and a far-range battle, okay? The close-range battle is for all purposes, and it's to just do a basic battle, face-to-face, two monsters killing each other. But I do try to dissect these creatures and their abilities when we go to far range. So basically the reason for far range is to test these creatures' abilities out by limiting them. So we're trying to test them and see how good they can fight if their abilities were restricted and limited. And that gives a lot of leeway, and we really see if they were restricted, could they still be a good fighting kaiju, and that really determines who's the winner. Now, on a rare occurrence, we might go to overtime. I'm not going to explain that right now because we don't need to, but once we get there, if we get there, I will explain it. So without further ado, let's begin. The first one, we'll do far range. These creatures are going to be set at 700 meters apart and cannot get closer. So let's see what abilities Siren Head can and cannot use in terms of far range. So, Siren Sound, he can use it. Mimic Sound, he can use it. Body Attacks, he cannot use that because remember, he is far away. Now, that is that he can throw things at Godzilla. Being at 80 meters tall, he can most probably lift the building up and throw it. But the chances of him throwing it as far as 700 meters apart are very low, and I'm going to say it's not going to happen. So that's basically what he can do. Now for Godzilla, the only thing he can use out of all of his abilities are the atomic breath and the burning ability. Much more powerful than what Siren Head could actually use, so that is to take into consideration. So obviously in the far range battle, I see Godzilla starting it off because Siren Head is going to be the intruder here on Earth, and Godzilla will bring balance to the Earth. That's his natural thing to do. So that's what I believe he's going to do. He's going to start off the fight with a warning attack with an atomic breath. And that is going to cause some damage to the flesh of Siren Head. Remember, Siren Head is really fleshy. So even though he is mutated now, a bit more stronger, he still is very, very fleshy. And that flesh can be, ripped apart quite easily without much effort, really. And I think as a response, Siren Head, the only thing he can do, remember, he is very limited here on far distance. He doesn't have like an atomic breath or anything like that. So I think the only thing he can do is mimic the sound of Mothra and kind of trick Godzilla into not attacking him. And I think that's the only way. If he is able to hide himself and mimic the sound of Mothra and trick Godzilla into not fighting him and making Godzilla go away, that is the only way he's going to win, as in it's a peace offering from Mothra. But obviously with this debate battle, we need someone to die, we need someone to win, and death is the only way to win, or a completely almost death situation. So even if that happens, at one point, remember Godzilla did see Siren Head and knows that it's him, and let's say that he is able to do that Mothra mimic sound and pull off Godzilla away, Siren Head will eventually die later on because of the big damage of the atomic breath. So, giving it a 1-0 for Godzilla 2019. Now let's go to close distance, where the ball game completely changes. Face to face. Now let's remember, Godzilla is 119 meters tall, Siren Head is now 80 meters tall. Still, quite a difference. Not too much, but there is quite a difference. Godzilla is very beefy, very strong, and we have to remember, Siren Head became very, very strong as well. Big muscles because of the radiation. It's a mutation. So when it comes face to face and head to head, it's going to be a good, big brawl against these two kaijus, until it comes to the tail whip of Godzilla. When Godzilla uses the tail whip against Siren Head, it's going to knock him down, and all that needs to happen is Godzilla to go into burning mode and fry him up. And as simple as that. No other outcome is going to happen. Godzilla will be the winner of this debate video, 2-0. Obviously, this is just my opinion. You can debate me in the comment section below. I will leave the backstory of Siren Head so you can debate me in the comment section for use as a reference. But that is the outcome in my opinion, 2-0 in favor of Godzilla. Also, requests are very happily accepted. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a wonderful and great day.